to be educated, but I'm so frustrated. Hello to my loneliness. I guess that ignorance is bliss. Take me back to before the noon. Rewind, take it out of cue. Innocence can be a young man's game. Signed up for the hall of shame. I wish I knew.
We all know Tiger Woods has a type, and his type tends to lead toward trashy looking women who are so grateful that Tiger Woods looked at them twice. So, his 6-year relationship with Erica Herman just ended, and she definitely fits that description. She was the general manager at one of his restaurants called The Woods Jupiter in Florida, and they started dating apparently around the same time she started working at this business in 2017. Now, when she started dating him, I guess he asked her to sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. So she signed it in August 2017. Smart thing to do. It's smart because if you're gonna date trashy women who are just thankful to be in your orbit, you need to protect yourself. Anybody with common sense and a lot of money will do the same. Now, since they've broken up, Erica Herman is seeking more than $30 million in damages after she accused him of locking her out of the Florida home they once shared. Mind you, she can't afford this type of house, so apparently it's Mr. Wood's home. But he apparently put this home into a trust. Another smart thing for a wealthy person like Tiger Woods to do when you're dealing with trashy, bottom of the barrel women.
Confirmed in these court records as well, and she was sort of like a fixture by his side, particularly as he was, publicly coming back from a car accident that was that some expected might end his career. So she was a very public part of his life.
So, all right, what does the NDA say, and what has come to light with this lawsuit? Because why she's suing, or how she's attempting to get out of the NDA, is there is a clause, I guess, in the NDA that says if there are allegations of sexual assault or abuse, the NDA could become null.
It's not a clause in the NDA. It's federal law.
Oh, it's federal law. Thank you. All right. But that's not. It's not clear what she's indicating. Who or
right.
Who would have committed these acts of sexual assault or these allegations of sexual assault?
Right. So it's a pretty remarkable little occurrence that has happened in this, in these court filings that for months have gone unnoticed by the media. And essentially what happened was she filed a suit against him last fall, against his trust last fall. And that lawsuit didn't even mention Tiger Woods. And it was actually, if you just came across the court documents, it looks like a tenant-landlord eviction dispute. And she's basically saying she wants to get back into her home. Then attorneys representing Woods filed a response in that lawsuit that said, Tiger Woods lives in that home. They were in a relationship. She's not allowed to sue Tiger Woods because they have an NDA, which means that all of their disputes cannot be in public court, but have to be instead in confidential arbitration. And that then caused her to file this most recent lawsuit, which was the one that reporters noticed, like me, because it was filed against Eldrick Woods, which is Tiger's real name. And that lawsuit basically was her saying, I want out from under the NDA. And she did mention this clause in very recent federal legislation that said that says that if there are allegations of sexual harassment or sexual assault, then you can't be bound to an NDA that forces you to settle your disputes confidentially. And so what you have is a dispute that started really small, but I think it has really sort of interesting and significant ramifications.
So according to an October 2022 lawsuit against the Jupiter Island Irrevocable Homestead Trust that Woods controlled, Herman said she was allegedly tricked into leaving. Now you all gotta check this story out. So Herman alleged that she was allegedly tricked into leaving the property after she was told to pack a suitcase pays for her vacation. When she arrived at the airport, her lawsuit states she was informed that she had been locked out of the house. It's the fact that you were staying in a $30 million house and this wealthy man, instead of just coming to you straight, you mean to tell me in no span of this relationship has he hinted that I want you gone, I really don't think this is working, maybe you should start looking for a place of your own. You mean none of that ever happened? I find that incredibly hard to believe. And the way that he did it is kind of telling me, well, we'll get to it. So Wood's attorneys filed a response to Herman's lawsuit about her allegedly being removed from the home. In the document, they said she was advised that she was no longer welcome after the pair ended their relationship. Now, here's the thing. You were told that we've broken up, you're not welcome to stay in my house. So, am I hearing that you continue to live in this man's home after he broke up with you? And they had to trick you into leaving? You probably thought, well, he's gonna say he's sorry and we're making up. And he had to do that in order to get you out the house. It sounds like you were getting stalker vibes. But I digress. They added that she responded to the breakup by filing this lawsuit. According to a court filing obtained by People, the defendant asked for Herman's lawsuit to be heard before an arbiter. The trust lawyers added that under Wood's NDA with ex-Herman is required to settle any of her issues with the athlete through a confidential arbitration by suing the trust instead of Woods himself. The trust legal team says Herman wants to argue the claims in a public forum. Herman stated in court documents that she believes the NDA is invalid and unenforceable. Also said these issues are not legally certain and hopes a judge and jury can make a ruling. The plaintiff is unsure whether she may disclose, among other things, facts giving rise to various legal claims. She believes she had. Her attorney states in court documents filed March 6th. She is also currently unsure what other information about her own life she may discuss are with him. So are you trying to write a book after your breakup? I mean, is that what you're trying to figure out? I mean, what's the purpose of you removing the NDA?
Access has obtained the court documents where Erica alleges that they had entered into a, quote, oral tenancy agreement that allowed her to live at Tiger's home for 11 years. The trust claiming she was invited to live at the home when she was Tiger's girlfriend and asked to leave when the relationship ended.
Oral agreements are enforceable if you can prove that they exist through documents like emails or receipts.
Erica filed her second lawsuit Monday asking to be released from a non-disclosure agreement she signed with Tiger, claiming it's invalid and unenforceable, citing the Federal Speak Out Act, just signed into law in December, which provided an exception to enforceability of NDAs if the dispute involves sexual assault or sexual harassment.
In this complaint, Ms. Herman does not ever specify any actual allegations of sexual assault or sexual harassment. So we're not sure what she's actually talking about. That may be why she's actually asking the court to just clarify what she can and cannot say under the NDA.
In the court papers, Erica says she wants the NDA voided or guidance on whether she can share her own experiences, photographs, and recordings of herself related to various legal claims she believes she has. Erica.
Herman's legal team also argues the agreement is not valid or enforceable because of a lack of consideration and because of unconscionability. Girl, shut up. You are 38 years old. That means you were around 32 when you started dating. That means you know how to read legal documents. If you didn't have sense enough to know how to read it yourself and understand it, you should have hired an attorney if you really wanted to date this millionaire that you knew you were just lucky to be in the orbit around. Let's be real. The NDA was signed in 2017 August when the pair began a personal and professional relationship. Like I said, she was managing his restaurant and they started dating. You basically signed up to be his girlfriend situation because I've never heard of you. I'm assuming he's been doing Tiger the entire time you all been together. You were totally fine and comfortable with that. You like that lifestyle. You're like, I'm cool with it. You basically did what a lot of these women out here do. Hey, as long as I'm living good and I can go here and we can do this, I am down. Yes, let's do it. But the time to break up, you're crime foul. You're not his wife. $30 million in damages. $30 million? You are managing his restaurant. You can go get another management job. I'm sure you weren't getting $1 million a year to manage that restaurant. What are you talking about? I'm very much confused. You're a bitter ex who had to get tricked into leaving a house because apparently you refused, and you probably were getting stalker vibes, and goodness knows, you might have been sitting up there threatening the man. Tell him, I'll tell the world this, you Tiger Woods, you think you're so perfect, you think you're this, you think you're better than me, well I'll ruin you. You probably did that stuff, which is why they probably tricked you into leaving the house so they can change the locks. I'm just gonna put it out there simple and plain. You're a dime a dozen in his world. This is a wealthy man who said, you know, I kind of like her vibe. She's alright. And you looked up. I don't know why you thought it was gonna lead to a ring, but I guess you thought you were different. And that was your mistake. You're sitting up here, you're managing his restaurant. I'm pretty sure you were allowed to stack funds, so you weren't broke. You got comfortable being his girlfriend. He let you stay at his house, so you became his living girlfriend. You were never his wife. You weren't even engaged. But you want $30 million? In what alternate universe is this gonna be okay? I see how they slid into Speak Out Act. Girl, Tiger ain't got that type of history. Now, he's got the history of being a male whore, but he ain't got the history of putting hands on somebody. In fact, he's got the history of getting his behind beat by his wife. That's his history. And talk about the NBA is aggressive. Well, you didn't have to date him. Well, I felt like I had to date him to keep my job. And it just grew from there, and I got attached to his kid. I'm not buying anything you're selling, any of it. And of course, Tiger Woods is saying this is a shakedown. Basically, she wants to publicly embarrass him. And of course she does. Look at what her attorneys released to the press. They want to embarrass him so he'll settle this and she'll shut up and go away. That's what they really want. They want to settle. Because what's an arbitrator going to talk to you about? What do you want? Because he was probably going to like maybe put you up in an apartment and maybe pay you a year of it to make you happy. Maybe even give you a car. And you're like, no, I give you 6 years of my life. You voluntarily decide to date this man for 6 years. And now you want compensation like you was his wife and you deserve that kind of
What in her life gives her the right to sue for $30 million if she was never going to make that money in her whole life because she had sex with Tiger Woods at one point in her life? She's entitled $30 million? That's disgusting.
I think that number is hurting her.
Absolutely.
No, ma'am, you don't deserve that type of honor. You were not his wife. He never proposed to you. You never wore a ring. It was nothing. You can't even sue for a broken engagement. You can't even sue for alienation of affection. That does not apply to you. All that time of investment he put into you, he's not asking for that back. He's not asking back for all the money he put into paying for the trips he flew you out on, massages you enjoyed, clothes you probably bought on his dime, food you ate on his dime, the time he's wasted appeasing you. He's not asking for any of that money back, but you want 6 years of your life. Where his 6 years at? Where the 6 years of investment he put into you and really found out, I don't want this. Where's his 6 years of investment, ma'am? You knew what you signed up for from the beginning. You signed the NDA. That should have told you something right there. That should have told you he foresees you breaking up. I like her vibe. I like her being around me. But she's not quite what I'm looking for. That's what that NDA said. An NDA meaning keep my business private. I'm a private person. I don't want to get out there. And look at you. Look at what you did. You went to go tell the first chance you got. As private as Tiger Woods is, I know he has lost respect for you. I know he has. Because he's like, I was already done with you. And see, this is the very reason why he was done with you. Because he knew you were one of those people who's going to fly off the handle. Hence the reason why they tricked you out the house and got you to the airport and told you there the locks were being changed. A lot of people out there were like, well, he did her so wrong. It makes me wonder, what was she doing? If you have to trick somebody to get out the house, this is you could change your life. How miserable were you making it? If I felt like I had to do that to a guy, I feel like I would do it because I think he's unstable. So I'm looking at her in that light. Is this lady unstable? I mean, we don't know. Because Tiger Woods is a private person. And I think he'd be worried about people viewing him a certain way if he did put her business out there. Especially in this alleged Me Too movement. Apparently based on who they want to Me Too. Because ain't nobody saying nothing about Dana White. Go back and look at my video. Ain't nobody saying nothing about him. Ain't say nothing about that. And until somebody does, I don't want to hear anything about anybody else, including Tiger Woods. Don't do Tiger. Unless you're talking about Dana White, don't do Tiger. Shut up. But leave your comments below and tell me what you think.